Good morning and welcome to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's only local morning show, giving you exclusive access into people, businesses, and events in our community. We're bringing you the show live daily weekdays at 9:30 a.m. with me, your host, Maddie Muschin. Before we dive into today's show, every week we highlight someone, an educator, student, business, or organization from our Greater West Bloomfield community going above and beyond. If you would like to submit an entry for someone, you can scan the QR code on the screen, fill out the Google form with the person's name, their contact information, and reasons why you think they should be recognized for our Person of the Week. Now let's go check out what's going on in our Greater West Bloomfield community. The first event we want to look at is happening tomorrow. The Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society is presenting Old Islam in Detroit, Rediscovering the Muslim American Past. It's going to be tomorrow, Tuesday, February 22nd at 7 p.m. at Connect in West Bloomfield at Orchard Mall. Michigan is home to one of the oldest and most diverse Muslim communities in the U.S., where a dynamic process of political and religious change is still unfolding. This talk will explore the rise of Detroit's earliest Muslim communities with author Sally Howell. This event is free, and you can contact the Historical Society to register. Our next event is the West Bloomfield Parks Black Expo. West Bloomfield Parks is working with the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force to bring some great events to celebrate Black History Month. Their last event will be held on Saturday, February 26th from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. at Orchard Mall. This is a free event that is family friendly. There will be a DJ as well as the West Bloomfield Jazz Band performing at 11 a.m. There will also be some demos and displays highlighting careers, resources, and Black-owned businesses. Some of the businesses that will be there are House of Barbecue, Jewels by Joyce, Authentic Existence, and many more. For this event, you can head over to the West Bloomfield Parks website to register. If you have an event you would like us to feature here on the Splash Live, you can send us a message on our social media pages at Civic Center TV and Facebook at Civic Center TV 15. Coming up, I'll be talking with Gina Gregory. She is the president of the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. But before that, to celebrate Black History Month, West Bloomfield Parks hosted a Love Yourself Wellness While Black event that brought in experts on wellness. One of those experts was Dr. Michelle Lino, who talked about how to deal with anxiety and making sure your mental health is supported during the year. Let's go check out what Dr. Lino had to say. After joining us for an interview on the Splash Live, Dr. Michelle Lino gave a talk at the Love Yourself Wellness While Black event at Connect about mental health and her tips for keeping ourselves healthy this year.
Self-care is about doing what's needed for you to feel whole and at ease in the moment. And notice I said in the moment because sometimes we think about what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes or what's going to happen in the next 5 years. And what happens when we do that? When we don't have the answers, we become anxious, so we're getting away from self-care. Now, it's okay to plan ahead, but understand that when you're doing that, you can't control what's gonna happen next all the time. So you can only manage how you're responding to situations that are currently happening right now. Oftentimes, we think that there's something outside of us that's making us anxious, or there's something that someone else did that's making us anxious. Oftentimes it's the very thought that we have when we first wake up in the morning. And so part of my self-care recommendation is set your intentions first thing in the morning.
She also gave some advice on dealing with anxiety through her acronym BRAVE.
I came up with this, for me, I came up with this acronym BRAVE. So B is breathe. Make sure you remember. You can come up with your own. But B is breathe. Make sure you're breathing in the moment. A lot of times when we become anxious, we hold our breaths because we're waiting for the next trauma to happen. The next one is reflect what's going on around you right now. Because oftentimes what you're afraid of and what you're imagining is not happening in that moment. You're anticipating a worst case scenario, but it's not really happening. The next one, A, accept. So you're just accepting the circumstances as they are. Oftentimes we don't want to accept, right? We want to say, well, I can do this or I can do that. But you just accept it, but it doesn't mean that you don't do anything about it, okay? And then you verify. And all of this is a quick process. of what's going on. And you are saying, okay, this is actually what's happening, not what's all going on inside of my brain, because you may create an entire forward flip in your head of what's happening, and that's not really what's happening. And then exhale. That's very, very important. Make sure you, as you're breathing, you're not just holding your breath, it's an in and out process too. And we always have access to our thoughts, and so that's why I focus on change your thoughts, change how you feel, change your life. Very, very important.
A big thank you to Dr. Michelle Lino for giving us some tips on keeping our mental health in check, and thank you to West Bloomfield Parks for putting on a great event. Reporting for The Splash Live, I'm Maddie Muschin. Thank you again to West Bloomfield Parks and Dr. Michelle Lino for helping us all celebrate Black History Month and reminding us to take care of our mental health this year. Later on, we'll be looking at what student athletes at West Bloomfield High School had to say about the thing that they love most about going to school at WB. But before that, we'll be joined by the president of the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society, Gina Gregory. All that and more after this short break.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head-on, visit michigan.gov/flu. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer. Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Welcome back to The Splash Live. I'm your host, Maddie Muschin. It's now time to talk to the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society president about their fun upcoming event that they have tomorrow. It is the Old Islam in Detroit, Rediscovering the Muslim Past. And Gina Gregory is the president of the Historical Society, and she is joining us now. Gina, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Glad to be here, Maddie.
Gina, could we first start off with telling us a little bit about the event that you guys are putting on tomorrow night?
Well, this is a first for us to use the Connect building. Since the library wasn't sure that they'd be open at this time, another resource that we have that we're able to use is the Connect building, part of the Orchard Lake Mall, and folks will enter from the outside into this live event. And of course, it'll be socially distanced, and I expect that the West Bloomfield Parks requires masks, so we'll abide by that. And then we'll look forward to a live presentation by Sally Howell. I heard her a few years ago at a Historical Society of Michigan presentation, and the audience just loved her presentation. They had many questions, and she's a dynamic speaker with a great deal of knowledge about it. She's written a book, and she's the director for the Center of Arab American Studies at University of Michigan, Dearborn. So she's well-versed on her topic. It covers, explores the rise of Detroit's early Muslim communities and documents the growth and expansion of their mosques and cultural institution from 1900 through the 1980s. So it'll give people a deep background of more the diverse area that we live in Metro Detroit. I thought it'd be of interest to our community as well.
Gina, could you tell us a little bit about the inspiration for bringing this presentation by Sally to the Greater West Bloomfield area, and specifically working with the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society?
Sure, I'm inspired always to look for diversity, look for inclusivity of looking at history, looking at our community, looking at the wider world that we live in. And when we have a resource like this, it makes sense to me to utilize that so that we all have a larger understanding. Often in February, we have a speaker on Black culture, which is excellent. This year, I wanted to change it up and do something diverse for another culture. Another year, we had gone to the Chaldean Cultural Center, which is a small, excellent museum inside the Shenandoah Gulf Center, or I'm not sure of its title exactly, on Walnut Lake Road near Drake. They have an excellent museum. So we encourage people to explore their history. There's so much of it around us. You know, we have the Holocaust Center is down the street on Orchard Lake Road near 14 Mile Road. So we live in a very diverse area, and it's great to embrace that and learn more.
Gina, we live in a very diverse community, as you said. How important is it for our community to learn specifically more about the Muslim community and their history here?
It couldn't be more timely, could it? You know, it's always important to be aware of what's going on, and in these times, I think it's extremely important that people understand Detroit's connection to the Muslim community. You know, didn't I read some of this in the paper yesterday about you know, people being detained and withheld at Russia for their connections, and who knows what those are, but there's certainly a lot of interaction with our community and the rest of the world. So it's just very timely, and there's, you know, there's a history there that we all need to be aware of.
Gina, if someone
seems to me.
Yes, Gina, if someone wants to go and attend this presentation and talk tomorrow night, how will one go about registering for that and connecting with you to find information about that?
They can go to our website. We're the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. So our website is gwbhs.org. We're called the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society because we encompass Greater West Bloomfield, which are the 4 communities within the township of Greater West Bloomfield. That's why the name is Greater. So there's no charge. All people have to do is find 6335A Orchard Lake Road, which is the outside entrance to the mall, underneath the West Bloomfield Parks logo, which should be lit up and visible. And they just walk in the door, and we have a registration table set up right there. So it's pretty easy. Just come on over and go to our website to see the write-up exactly.
Gina,
it's on our front page.
Awesome. Gina, as we wrap up here, is there anything else you want to share with us about what's going on with the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society, or any other events that you guys have coming up in the near future?
Sure. Tomorrow we're having another strategic planning meeting, and so people would need to contact me, and they can do so by email, going to our website and just clicking on the email link, which is contact@gwbhs.org if they're interested in doing that. If they're interested in research, we also have a link there on our website. And then we're open for our open houses now each week. We're open the 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 5th Sundays, and 3rd Fridays. So we will be open next Sunday, and we have all new exhibits in our newly updated museum. So I think it should be a good time. People have enjoyed what they see, and there's many interactive items for people to touch and look at and engage in.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Gina. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. It's a great way to connect to your local community.
Exactly. Once again, I was joined by the president of the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society, Gina Gregory, talking about the event they have tomorrow night at Connect in West Bloomfield. There are so many things about West Bloomfield High School that students and staff love that we couldn't even fit it into one video. But the student athletes at West Bloomfield told us a few things about what they have loved going to a great high school as great as West Bloomfield. Let's go see what they had to say. There are so many things to love about attending high school at West Bloomfield. So we asked some of their student athletes who signed their national letter of intent what their favorite thing about going to high school at West Bloomfield is.
Most definitely the community. Like, I have such great friends, such personal relationships that I've built with a multitude of people. There's so many people here to support me. So I just love that there's so many friendly people here, and I really feel a sense of community when I come to school.
My favorite thing about going to school here, basically the education. Education is really good. I came from another district, and I can really say that it's very much a difference between West Bloomfield district and the other districts. And it's filled with loving people. Everybody here is caring. Everybody here treats you like family. So, yeah.
I love everything. I love the medical mentorship program that I'm in here. I love the National Honor Society program that I'm in. And the school is just an overall great environment. The people here are nice, the teachers are great, and the school is just wonderful.
It's the community, it's very diverse, so you can have friends, all different types of ethnicities, just family, friends. And then everybody, when you meet them, they just really cool. Everybody clicks. No one really hates anybody. It's a really nice environment. And when you go here, it allows you to have fun, just be a happy student.
Just the people I've met, honestly, the relationships I've built. Growing up, I was usually like a kid that's to myself, and to really know that I have a second family, like the Williams and Michaela and all of them, it really does mean a lot that I have people that are there for me. Just the fact that I have a relationship. To me and my mom, that's my best friend. To know that I have another family that cares for me just like my mom does, that means a lot. Because it means something different to hear someone else saying they believe in me.
My favorite thing is definitely being a swamp leader. The student sections at WB are great. Being able to lead them is even better. I love the student body here. It's so spirited and so welcoming, and it's definitely been a great 4 years.
You get to see a lot of new people every day, so yeah. My favorite thing about going to the high school is that it's so diverse and you meet so many people, and you just build a lot of connections, especially senior year. You just grow very close with your senior class, and it's very fun.
So take it from the student athletes. There are so many things to love about going to high school at West Bloomfield. Reporting for the Splash Live, I'm Maddie Muschamp. Thank you to all the student athletes for sharing their thoughts with us about why they love going to West Bloomfield High School. We're going to take a short break, but when we get back, we'll be talking with Matthew Sikora. He's the owner of True Martial Arts located in Orchard Mall here in West Bloomfield. So don't go anywhere. We'll be talking to Matthew after the break.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
This message brought to you by FEMA. Home fires occur most often in winter. Keep anything that can catch fire at least 3 feet from heating equipment. And never use an oven to heat your home. Stay in the kitchen when frying, grilling, or broiling food. Turn space heaters off when you leave the room or go to bed. Make sure all vents are clear of snow and ice to allow carbon monoxide to vent outside. Have your furnace, heating system, and chimneys serviced each year by a qualified professional. Learn more at www.usfa.fema.gov.
Teens a day die from texting and driving. Don't text and drive.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live. I'm your host, Maddie Muschin. We are now joined by owner of True Martial Arts, Matthew Sikora, to talk about his business as well as the inspiration behind it. Matthew, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Hi, Maddie. Thank you so much for having me on.
Matthew, let's first talk a little bit about True Martial Arts and the inspiration behind starting the studio here in West Bloomfield.
Well, I grew up here in Farmington Hills, West Bloomfield area. Very passionate martial artist my entire life. And after graduating business school, this seemed to be the obvious choice for me, was to turn my passion into a business. And it's worked out really well so far. And West Bloomfield has been a really great community to do it in.
And Matthew, let's talk about your background in martial arts. When did you start practicing martial arts, and how long have you been practicing and bringing that into the studio?
Yeah, well, actually, I started when I was 5 years old, so this is year number 30 for me. Like I said, I'm a lifelong martial artist, and you know, it was one of those things where when I was a kid, my mom signed me up because she was looking for something that would help focus my energy and be a positive influence, and it was something that, you know, immediately I latched onto and excelled at, and it's become a lifestyle for me now.
Matthew, for those of our viewers who are not familiar with martial arts and what goes into the training behind that, could you give us a little bit of background into what martial arts is and what drew you to that?
Yeah, that's a great question, because there is a common misconception for a lot of people when they come in for the first time. They believe that martial arts, you know, the first question is like, am I going to have to fight right away, or, you know, something like that, that it's all about fighting and punching and kicking. It is, and we do teach self-defense, and that's the main focus of our program. But there's a big element of the martial arts that is really about developing your character, you know, especially for our younger students and our kids programs. You know, there's a large element about it, about teaching character development, things like focus and discipline, a lot of the things that parents and schools expect from students when they come in, but are not quite sure exactly how to instill those values or how to teach those things. We try to fill that gap, and also, you know, teach students to defend themselves, which hopefully gives them confidence to walk through the world with their head held high.
Matthew, at True Martial Arts, what types of programs and classes do you guys offer there for people that are interested in getting into martial arts?
We have a wide variety of different programs and classes for every age group. Our youngest students are ages 4 through 7. We have that program. It's called the Grasshoppers program. And it basically is like a pre-karate. It's very heavily weighted in teaching that character development skills to the kids, teaching them about focus and discipline, listening skills, and how to control their mind and their body. Obviously, they're learning self-defense as well, but we really try to focus in on that age group about physical fitness and the character development. As the kids graduate to the older age group, which is ages 7 and above, we have a wider variety of different options for them at that point. Body program, which is a very popular program, as well as Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and kickboxing. So the kids can learn about a lot of different disciplines of the martial arts. And then we have adults programs as well. So for our adult students, teens and adults ages 15 and above, we have our Krav Maga program, which is an Israeli martial art that teaches self-defense. You know, it's more of a military style, more of like a law enforcement style type of martial arts training that goes along with the grappling that we teach in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and the basics. So, variety of different age groups, different disciplines that we teach here, and it's a really great true.
Matthew, you talked about some of those skills and character development that martial arts can give to your students. How does martial arts build character and bring those types of skills and characteristics into the classroom that you guys have there?
So there's a lot of different ways that martial arts impacts people, and it's definitely on an individual basis depending on why they've come in and what kind of goals they've set for themselves. But the first thing that I point to when people ask that question is goal setting. You know, we try to, at a very young age, teach our students about what goal setting is, how to set a goal, achieve that goal, set the next goal, achieve that one, and then that kind of becomes part of who they are and the way that they think. So our students get in the habit of, you know, setting goals for themselves, whether it be from a physical standpoint, building strength or coordination, balance, flexibility, things of that nature, but also goals, as a student in school, goals that they want to achieve at home. And as they kind of climb that ladder, and most people think about the martial arts, they know about a belt system, how everybody starts at white belt and they work their way towards becoming a black belt. And that's really just kind of a symbolism for goal setting, right? And there's lots of intermediate steps in between. I start as my white belt, I get my yellow belt, my orange belt, my green belt, and I climb the ladder. So as students train in martial arts for over a longer period of process, just becomes part of who they are. And the discipline that's expected in class is a great outlet for students and a way for them to practice these skills that we're teaching them. And that confidence of knowing that they themselves takes them a long way in life. It's a different brand of confidence than they get on the football field or the basketball court. So yeah, I think that would be the first thing I would point to as far as what students get out of the program.
And Matthew, those students that you have in at True Martial Arts, how have you seen martial arts impact them, whether they are someone that has trained in the art of martial arts before or if they are a new student?
A wide variety of ways. We've had students that have gone on, our black belt students have gone on to be valedictorians of their classes, honor roll students, the skills that they build in the martial arts translate well to the types of skills that are expected at school. So our student, I think the martial arts really definitely helps students excel in school as well as at home. We've also had, have behavioral challenges that come in where the martial arts has been a really great skill building tool to help them deal with some of the challenges that they're having at home. We've had police officers come in and train that really want that confidence to know that they can handle themselves at their jobs. So we've had students come in and set goals for themselves about losing weight or fitness challenges them with. So really, no matter what get out of martial arts, there's a wide variety of things for your it's a
Matthew, as we wrap up, would you tell us how one can get involved with those classes and programs at True Martial Arts?
Sure, yeah. You were breaking up a little bit, but if you are interested in our programs, I would say visit our website at bloomfieldmartialarts.com. You can sign up there. We're offering a free trial right now, a 2-week free trial of our program where students can come in, try out all the different disciplines of martial arts, that we offer. Come in and no limit to the number of classes that you can take in 2 weeks and get to know us and get to know our facility, and we can get to know the student. And it's a really great way to get exposed to what the martial arts are about and kind of get a free test drive of the program.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Matthew. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
Once again, I was joined by Matthew Sikora. He is the owner of True Martial Arts here in West Bloomfield. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank you again to Gina Gregory and Matthew Sikora for joining us this morning. A special thanks to our Zoom producer, Jared Clark, for coordinating the Zoom. And as always, a big thank you to Calvin Brown, our board operator, for making the show possible each and every morning. And thank you for joining me as we explored all of the people and events in our greater West Bloomfield community. As always, you can make sure to tune in live on Civic Center TV on Comcast Channel 15 and AT&T Channel 99, Monday through Friday, to catch up on what's going on in our greater West Bloomfield community. For all of our friends in Orchard Lake, Sylvan Lake, Kego Harbor, and West Bloomfield, I'm Maddie Muschin. Thank you for watching The Splash Live.
Did you know that nearly